Imagine swimming in a calm blue lake when suddenly a cold hand grabs your ankle and drags you down. But what if I told you this isn't just a horror story? It is something hundreds of people have claimed to experience at Lake Lanier in Georgia. This is not just any lake. This is a place built on drowned towns, forgotten cemeteries, and restless souls. They say the lake itself is cursed, and the deaths are proof. Lake Lanier stretches across more than 38,000 acres, a sparkling body of water that looks like paradise from above. Boats glide across it, families swim in it, tourists come to escape the summer heat. But behind that beauty lies one of America's deadliest mysteries. Since the 1950s, more than 700 people have died here, drowned, vanished, or pulled under by something no one can explain. And the question everyone whispers is the same. What exactly is hiding in Lake Lanier's waters? Here's the part that chills investigators to the bone. Before this lake ever existed, the land beneath it was alive. It was home to farmlands, houses, churches, and entire cemeteries. When the US government decided to flood the valley in the 1950s, they relocated families, but not everyone, and not everything. Bodies were left behind, graves were swallowed whole, and entire towns disappeared beneath the rising water, which means that every time you swim in Lake Lanier, you're swimming above the dead. But this is where the story takes a darker turn. Locals insist those buried souls never left. They talk about ghostly figures that rise from the water at night, pale arms reaching toward passing boats. Fishermen swear they've seen faces floating just beneath the surface, vanishing when touched. And divers? They tell stories so terrifying they refuse to return. One diver claimed he swam too deep and found himself staring at something impossible. An entire cemetery, headstones still standing, coffins cracked open by the current. He said skeletal hands seemed to stretch out from the silt, as though reaching for him. He shot back to the surface and never went down again. But here's the twist nobody expected. Many who drowned in Lake Lanier weren't careless swimmers or unlucky tourists. They were strong, healthy people who should have survived. Witnesses described them being pulled under suddenly as if grabbed. Some even surfaced for a moment, screaming, before being yanked down again. And when their bodies were recovered, many showed no clear signs of injury. It was as if the lake itself had claimed them. Take the chilling story of two women in 1958. They were driving across a bridge when their car suddenly swerved, crashed, and plunged into the dark water below. Their bodies were never recovered. For decades, the lake kept its secret. Until one night, a fisherman swore he saw a woman in a blue dress standing at the edge of the water. Her eyes were lifeless, her face pale. When he approached, she vanished. Years later, divers finally located the sunken car at the bottom of the lake, with the remains of the women still inside. To this day, locals say the Lady of the Lake walks the shoreline, forever searching for the life stolen from her. And she's not the only one. Boaters often report feeling sudden icy chills on hot summer days, as though invisible hands brush against them. Others say they've seen entire boats capsize without warning, their passengers dragged below. Survivors describe it the same way. Something in the water pulled them down, but no one agrees on what that something is. Some blame restless spirits trapped in the lake since their graves were disturbed. Others believe the sunken towns create deadly currents, sucking swimmers into hidden ruins. And then there are those who whisper about something older, something monstrous lurking in the depths. Could Lake Lanier be hiding a creature no one has ever identified? Here's where the mystery deepens. Rescue divers tasked with retrieving bodies often return with stories that sound less like reality and more like nightmares. They talk about swimming through complete darkness, their lights bouncing off old buildings still preserved beneath the water. One diver said he saw an entire Ferris wheel down there, left behind when a carnival ground was swallowed by the flood. Others describe ghostly figures drifting past them in silence, faces pale and unrecognizable. Were they hallucinations from the pressure, or were they the restless souls of the drowned? But what investigators found next shocked even the skeptics. In some cases, bodies pulled from the lake showed unusual conditions. Divers reported that the remains seemed preserved longer than normal, as if something in the water was keeping them intact. Almost like the dead didn't want to decompose. They wanted to remain, staring, waiting. And it doesn't stop there. Locals share stories of hearing church bells ringing from beneath the water, even though the church was demolished before the flood. On quiet nights, people swear they hear echoes of voices, children laughing, horses neighing, and even the faint sound of trains. But all of it is coming from the depths of the lake, where an entire drowned town sleeps. Or maybe it doesn't sleep at all. Imagine you're out on a boat at night, the water calm and glassy. Suddenly, ripples form. Something brushes the side of your boat, and then you hear it. Screams, faint but clear, rising from beneath the water. What would you do? That's exactly what one man claimed. He was night fishing when his boat began to rock violently. He peered into the water and swore he saw dozens of faces staring back at him, mouths open, eyes wide. Terrified, he fled and never returned. But here's the kicker. The next morning, authorities discovered a boat capsized in the exact same spot, its passengers missing, and the deaths continue even today. Every year, people drown at Lake Lanier. Some are accidents, yes, but others defy all logic. Strong swimmers vanish in shallow water, boats capsize on calm days, bodies appear days later, miles from where they were last seen, and sometimes they never appear at all. So the question is, what exactly is happening beneath Lake Lanier? Is it dangerous currents and hidden debris, or is it something supernatural, something that refuses to let the dead rest in peace? The evidence piles up like stones on a grave. Ghost sightings, unexplained screams, bodies preserved unnaturally, and a death toll that keeps rising year after year. Coincidence or curse? Imagine walking deeper into the swamp. The air grows heavier, thicker, like it's alive. You feel as if the trees themselves are leaning closer, listening. But what if I told you? It's not just the swamp watching you. It's the dead, the forgotten, the betrayed, because Hockomock Swamp has been a place of blood and sacrifice for centuries. Long before colonists arrived, native tribes called this land cursed. They believed dark spirits ruled here, spirits that fed on fear. But do you know why they feared it so much? Because every warrior who entered never came back the same. Some returned broken, some never returned at all, and some wandered back years later, their eyes blank, their minds lost. But it gets worse. When settlers tried to build here, their animals went mad. Cattle broke free, running straight into the bog, never to be seen again. Children vanished, homes burned in the night, and whispers spread that the swamp itself wanted blood. Now imagine you're a hunter in the 1700s. You raise your rifle, chasing a deer through the mist. But instead of hooves, you hear footsteps. Human footsteps. Soft, deliberate, circling you. You call out, no answer. And then a woman's laughter echoes. But when you turn, no one is there. Just the glowing marsh lights, flickering like souls trapped between worlds. And here's where it gets terrifying. Those lights, locals say they're not natural, they're not fireflies, they're not reflections, they are spirits, the wandering dead, trying to lead you deeper until the swamp swallows you whole. Still think it's just superstition? Then explain this. In 1978, two explorers entered the swamp with cameras. They claimed to see a massive winged creature rise from the bog. Its wingspan stretched wider than a car, its eyes burned red like fire, and when it screeched, the sound shattered their audio equipment. Both men swore they were being hunted by a beast that night. Some call it a thunderbird, others say it was something far worse. But creatures aren't the only danger. There are voices too. Travelers swear they hear chanting in the mist. Ancient words, not of this world, and sometimes drums beating low, steady, as if some ritual never ended, even after death. Now picture this. You're walking with a flashlight. You hear those drums, they grow louder. You follow them, heart pounding, and then you see it. A circle of shadowy figures standing in the swamp. But when you blink, they vanish. The ground ripples, and your flashlight dies. Still think you'd survive a night here? Think again, because Hockomock Swamp isn't just haunted. It's part of something bigger, a place known as the Bridgewater Triangle. A triangle of land in Massachusetts that has become one of the most paranormal hotspots in America. Inside this triangle, people have reported UFOs, mutilated cattle, satanic rituals, even time slips. And at the very heart of it lies the swamp, like a beating black heart, poisoning everything around it. Now let me ask you, what if these aren't separate mysteries at all? What if the UFOs, the monsters, the disappearances are all connected? What if the swamp is a doorway, a gateway to something beyond our world? And here's the scariest part. People who spend too much time here often change. They become paranoid, obsessed, haunted by dreams of drowning. Some even claim the swamp follows them home. They hear dripping water in their bedrooms. They wake to find mud on their floors. They see glowing eyes outside their windows. So tell me, would you dare to enter the Hockomock Swamp? Would you risk being dragged into its secrets, knowing you might never escape? Because once you walk into the mist, you may never walk out the same again.